Hello, welcome back to Life Taps and Backstabs, my YouTube channel, where I just get excited and gush all over, rogues, necromancers, and direlords. They're my three favourite classes in Pantheon. I've played it pretty much. Anyway, we'll forget about that. Let's get on to the topic of the video today. We've got some new patch notes. So patch notes have come out today. Now this was the first of what is hopefully going to be a weekly patch session. I believe it's going to be on a Wednesday. They've done it on a Tuesday today, which is fine. The servers have had a little bit of a lengthy downtime, and we've got some patch notes now to look at, and we're going to flick through them. There's some cool things in here, some things that are going to make some people very, very happy, and I can imagine in 6 months' time we'll have forgotten all about, for instance, the horrible days of running around in the dark. There's a little bit of a sneak peek spoiler for you on what might be in the patch notes. Anyway, let's have a quick look. So you should now feel a bit more powerful in combat against mobs that are lower level than you. So light blue, green and grey mobs. Now, interestingly, it doesn't say anything about group mobs. I don't know whether this is going to be relevant to group mobs as well. It would be quite cool if it is. Allow me to have my morning cup of coffee down in the Goblin Caves again, trying to get my haze cloak. We'll see. We'll see if that's a thing anymore. I spent 3 weeks every morning, 3 weeks, trying to get my haze cloak in the morning with a cup of tea. Anyway, so when a server is too full to allow any more players to log on, its name will now be greyed out, show a red band symbol, and it won't be selectable for login. When a server is in this state, you will need to wait a few minutes and try again. Log into another shard with the same server name if available, or create an alt on another server name with a lower population. Now, at the moment, or before these patch notes, when a server was unable to be logged on and it was full, it would just drop off the server name. So it would look like Black Moon 0, for instance. It would look like it had just closed down or stopped, and it wasn't. It was just full, and it just removed itself from the list. So this is now nice and good. This is good to see that the server will still be there. It just won't let you log on. Added, this is the one that everybody's going to be happy about. Added a light source equip slot. Can't even say I'm so excited. Added a light source equip slot to the character sheet where you can equip your torch to provide light. Fantastic. Now, for those of you watching this maybe 6 months time, why would you be watching it in 6 months time? I don't know. But we have to hold our torch in our offhand, and therefore we can't dual wield, or we can't use a great weapon or anything like that. So it was a massive downside when it was night time and we're having to run around with a torch. So this is fantastic. Thank you very much. Massive thumbs up. Added a disconnect due to inactivity dialogue that's shown if a player is disconnected for too long, to choose a realm server on the realms list screen. I'm sure this is just to a quality of life for them, so that we're not kind of taking up server space when we're just sat on the login screen. Mobs that are over level 2 will now have their corpses time out after 7 minutes, provided they have loot, and they can be looted by anyone after 4. Level 1 and 2 NPCs keep the current timeout of 2 minutes and 1 minute till anyone can loot, and this is fantastic. And I've had this on a number of occasions when I was trying to get bear pelts for some crafting months and months ago, and I was killing bears, and the bears are A, social, and B, kill on sight. So you'd end up killing one and another one would aggro, and you wouldn't be able to harvest the first one. You'd kill that one, then you get another one aggro, and by the time you've killed 3, the first corpse has despawned, so you kind of lose that loot. So this is fantastic. Big thumbs up again. Remove collision off the cliff edge at Spirit Manor. Beware stepping into thin air in that area will now result in a terrifying freefall. I want to know how many people are not going to read the patch notes and they're going to run out on the edge of Spirit Manor to drop aggro when they've pulled a few mobs. So for those of you who maybe aren't aware of what this is, the manor up at Thronefast, the edge of the cliff, it had basically a Indiana Jones style faith walk, where you could walk on the air across there, and if you backed up far enough the mobs would reset. If you had a horrible pull and pulled 4 mobs, you could run out of the back, drop the aggro and then come back again. So now don't do that. Stay on the cliff, don't fall to your death. New solo small group and group content for levels 15 to 20 has been added to Avendir Pass. This is exciting. Avendir's Pass is huge, and the area around by the lake up to Silent Plains, Eastern Plains, up to Eastern Plains has got plenty of space in there. There's plenty of space in other areas as well. So I don't know whether they've actually added mobs or whether they have just kind of tweaked some of the levels of some mobs that are around there. It suggests that they've added them, so there's going to be some more mobs around, which would be cool. And so yeah, we can go and find out what they are. So bug fixes. Fixed an issue where settings got lost with a Steam patch. Settings file save location has changed to that location. So if for people like me who aren't on Steam, I always, before I patch, I always copy my settings folder out, because I've got 16 macro buttons, I think. I need to do a video on macros, by the way. Remind me, guys, I need to do a video on macros. I think I've got 16 macros, so that I don't have to redo them every time. I just copy my settings folder out and then copy it back in again, and it keeps all my settings. All my frame windows are scaled down to 85%, so I've got a bit more space. I play on a 4K monitor, so I've got more space anyway, so it just looks neater. So I always copy my settings directory out. So we've now got a new location to copy that settings directory back in. Fix an issue that was sometimes preventing lower level abilities in an ability lineup from being added to your hotbar. I want to know what classes this has affected, because I know we can't have, it was a few patches ago, I couldn't have Backstab 1 and Backstab 2 on at the same time. I don't know whether this is what it's referring to, but it might be things like you can have a first version of the heal and the second version of the heal on the hotbar at the same time. Drop a comment down below if this has affected you. I'd be really interested to know what ability that is, or what abilities that is. Fix an issue where the mouse sensitivity slider wasn't working. I haven't done that. I've not come across that. So now you've got a nicely sensitive mouse. Fix an issue that was sometimes causing players to get stuck underneath a bind stone if they were running when returning to their bind point. Interesting. I've been stuck in a few places in the world recently when I've been using Shadow Step. Fortunately, Shadow Step gets you out as well. So if you are a rogue and you do get stuck, just put Shadow Step on your ability bar and just see if you can Shadow Step out. There's a hot tip for you, just in case it helps. So, fix some lighting issues in the Barrow Dark starting area. Nice. Lighting issues is always good. Warden Kikiran of Wild's End is no longer practicing static contractions. No more T-pose. No more T-pose for that little halfling. Fix the tooltip, not the cool tip, for the summoner class icon. Interesting. I don't know what the tooltip was on the summoner. I haven't played the summoner for a long time now. Ghost deers have been eradicated. Only visible deers remain in Thronefast. This was one of the bugs that I put in right at the beginning a few weeks ago. So that some of the deers have just vanished. I'm guessing it's when they did the update to the mods, to the models. Right, let's get on to some of the class stuff. Okay, so monks, rangers, warriors all have little tweaks. If you are a monk, a ranger or a warrior, then drop a comment down below if this is a good change or not. I'm guessing this is going to be a good change because the second strike on bow staff no longer has the damage reduced by 50%, which sounds really, really cool. Flurry stat contribution is reduced, so it's now 0.5 and it's down to 0.3 per hit. The ranger has improved the likelihood of finding various items through foraging, which is fantastic. I know rangers have a lot of limitations on the abilities that they use depending on how many items they found with foraging. Foraging also has quite a long cooldown, so getting more items through that is really, really good. And the warrior has got seasoned veteran added to newly created warriors and warrior vendors. This sounds exciting. I do have a warrior. I'm not sure how much play she's going to get. She's a tiny little halfling with cute little feathers in her hair because you have to have a halfling. But the Dire Lord is just so much fun. I might try to level the warrior. The warrior is going to be the topic of one of my future videos coming up, which is like 1 to 10. Just that 1 to 10 level range and what that experience needs to feel like. So I need to get a little bit of playtime on the warrior. Quests. The quest text for new utensils in Wild's End now specifies the correct NPC to talk to. So if you have that quest, you now have the text now has the correct NPCs, and you're not going to be wandering around trying to find him. NPCs. Pono, the weaponsmith trainer in Wild's End, should now once again offer entry-level schematics for sale, which is perfect because I've weaponsmithed my rogue, and then I was going to weaponsmith my dire lord, but I couldn't get any of the entry-level schematics, so that's really, really cool. And then we've got some VFX. It's always cool to see new VFX being added. There's some really, really nice ones. The rogues have got some really cool ones. The necromancer has some really cool ones, and of course you've got the wizard that's just blowing things up. So adding more VFX is always going to be cool. Of course, everybody's going to want that little slider so we can turn some of them down. But the game's got to look cool first. Let's make the game look cool, and then we can adjust and just turn it down a little bit. The Enchanter has got an updated VFX for delayed wound and a new effect for invisibility. I'm not going to make any jokes about that. We have adjusted Dragon Pool visual effect to improve performance. Sounds cool. And then there's a few NPC ones as well. Updated the NPC Shaman's heal over time to use correct visuals. All skeleton curse bolts should have the correct impact effect now. That sounds cool. I wish that was I wish curse bolts would go back to 70 hit points, because it was absolutely terrifying at level 5 going to do the skeletons and trying to get through 70 hit point curse bolts. Change disease cloud hand effect to correct one for the skeletons. Awesome. New impact effect for the bolt lightning palm attack. The bolt, he's now the curse of AVP, wandering around and killing everybody. Right, rangers, new effect for grizzly swipe technique, predator's furious assault. I wish I could ask you all to post pictures down in the comments, because I want to know what that new effect looks like. If you can put a link to a picture, that would be cool. But anyway, reduce particle and trail density on some effects to improve performance for the shaman. Shaman, you had too many visual effects. We've reduced them a little bit. The wizard also gets a new effect for invisibility. I don't know. How many different effects can you have for just going invisible? New visual effect for icy and lightning familiars and their summons. This is really cool. Although I was noticing that the familiars were a long way back off their shoulder recently. I don't know whether they've pulled them back onto their shoulder or not. New effect for chill, electrify and ignite. Small update to frozen spike effect, and a new effect for Varul's spear. Disabled heat distortion on Phoenix fire. I wonder why they've disabled it. Does that make, if you're a wizard, does that make you sad? Phoenix fire, the heat distortion sounds quite a cool thing. And then we've got some items. So the drop rate for uncommon items has returned to where it was before the last patch. I made a video recently about the Goblin temples in Wild's End. Hopefully you've watched it. If you haven't, it's down in my videos thing. And I commented in there that I quite liked the drop rate and how kind of scarce it was. So it wasn't overly scarce. I didn't think it was overly scarce. Yeah, as long as it's not going too high, because the point I made in that video was that we want this game to have longevity. So we want to have rewards for putting the effort in and putting the time in. If we end up getting to level 30 and it's taking a while, I'm loving the level rate. If we end up getting to level 30 and we've got just like tons of drops everywhere, that's going to affect the economy. It's going to affect like how impactful and special it does feel to when you get the get drops and things. But I don't know. Let's see what it's like. Reduce the weight of trap parts. So that's for the rangers, because they are now getting more. Where are they? They're now getting more things for the foraging. So reducing the weight of them allows you to carry more of them, which is good. The Lost Lotus Mantle should now equip to the correct item slot, which is awesome. And then the weight of the Forgotten Explorer's backpack has been reduced. And large wolf claws, which was a topic of conversation in my group yesterday, actually. We were like, where do these come from? We need them for a schematic, and we can't find them anywhere. But apparently, they now appear more frequently from appropriately sized wolves. So we need to find some large wolves, and we should get some claws from them. Excellent. Okay, crafting, weaponsmithing and armor smithing. I have both, so let's see what this is going to do. Simple weapon component schematics should now make the correct components. Always good. Skill requirements for refining ashen bronze and iron have been reduced, so that's good. So at the moment, or before this, the ashen bronze bars and the iron bars were just a little bit too high, so that you couldn't make the items underneath them. So that's good. The simple great hammerhead and simple maulhead schematics should now accept their grinding stones. I didn't know this was a thing, but that's also obviously awesome. Weaponsmithing trainers should now properly offer standard weapon schematics on their third tabs. So tier 3 tab, some of the weaponsmithing trainers obviously didn't have some in there, so that's good. Skill requirements for the first set of uncommon weapon schematics have been adjusted to match their intended values. Trying to get all the level up values at the right numbers as you're kind of making hundreds and hundreds of these is obviously quite tricky. So just going back in and just tweaking these. The schematic for standard Spaulders basis now references the correct recipe. Again, just complications of linking everything together. Nice and quick solution there. Schematic for the Might Runed Great Blade Axe will now properly require moonseed oil for all varieties of iron used. Perfect. And then the weaponsmithing and armor smithing trainers will now sell the ore smelting basic schematic for the players that lose their original copy. So initially, when you go and train for weaponsmithing or armor smithing, you get given the ore smelting schematics as a reward, like a quest reward. And if you accidentally delete it, you can't then go back and buy it. So you can now grab those, which is good. The schematic for the Shadower's Great Spear now creates a correct item. This is awesome because I want this. Fishing and sorry, not fishing. God, if only fishing was in the game. Fletching and carpentry. Skill requirements for refining ash staves, cedar and cedar staves have been reduced to match the items created with those materials. Same thing as the ash and bronze and iron. And then the schematic for the wind-shot short bow should now properly accept its components. Perfect. Then we've got a few things for tailoring and leatherworking. Skill requirements for refining cotton thread, cotton cloth, gossamer thread and gossamer cloth have been reduced. Same thing again with the ash staves and the ash and bronze. Skill requirements for refining cured leather and thick leather have also been reduced. And stat bonuses on leather armor made from cured leather and thick leather have been increased. Oh, nice. To be in line with other material types. Fantastic. Okay, cool. That's good. I hope that has applied to items that I've already made. So fingers crossed for that one. Assembly schematics for standard cloth and martial cloth armor are now available in the tailored trainers. For real this time, we promise. The thick leather bow grip schematic now properly identifies the skill it requires, which is good. Probably outfitting. And the schematic for the merchant satchel now correctly identifies the required skill level to create the item. Before, at the moment, you had to kind of over level so that you could use it. So we've now got that. That's fine. And the schematic for the illusionist robe will now properly accept its components. Same with the thaumaturge robe and the enchanter's robe. Perfect. Alchemy. Glider wings are now properly marked as alchemical reagents. Cool. So don't sell any glider wings. One of my friends in my guild has not been selling any general stuff that he's been getting recently for this particular reason, just in case they get renamed as alchemical reagents. And then the same with Nylum Ichor and Bat Blood. So they've all been marked up as alchemy ones. So don't sell those if you have got them in your bank. So there we go. Patch notes. I'm going to try and do these every week, just kind of read through and give you some insight to some of the more interesting things. I think the most exciting one here is the light source slot. So that's going to make everybody happy. We don't have to have a necromancer running around with a pet with a torch anymore. We can all do it ourselves. And just a very, very quick one. If before you patch, please do copy your settings file over. Save it on your desktop or something, and then copy it back into here so that you don't lose all your macros and things like that. So there we go. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care, and I will see you on the next video sometime soon. I'll see you on Terminus. Take care. Bye bye.